Yo, what's up, guys? Mooky here, and I'm back with another part of What If Izuku Was the Reincarnation of Date Masamune. This is part 5. In the last part, Izuku and everyone else in Class 1A began their quirk apprehension test, with Izuku getting pretty high in placement in the wooden cannon. Not only that, nobody in Class 1A actually getting expelled. On the next day, they began their hero studies class, with All Might being their combat teacher, with them now preparing for their heroes versus villains training. So with that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? As Izuku and Ochako began preparing for a strategy to take on Kojiro and Iida, with soon Kojiro began thinking, most likely the boss will be coming after me. Not because he believes that I would be the easiest to take on. He knows that I would be the hardest to defeat. Iida may be fast, but he's not faster than the boss. So to him, he's second nature. As soon, Iida saying, Kutakata, do you not wish to make a strategy? Can you tell me anything about Midoriya's quirk? As soon, Kojiro opens his eyes, as he soon says, if you want to know about the boss's quirk, there's one thing you should know. He's quirkless. As soon, Iida saying, but that's impossible. He has to be. There's no way a person could move that fast unless... I don't know it either, but the boss has always been able to have superhuman strength, speed, and able to basically manipulate lightning at will. He's even able to summon lightning from the sky itself sometimes. It's kind of terrifying if I do say so. As Iida saying, Iida, I have a perfect plan to basically defeat the boss. So I'm going to need to ask you to do me this favor, please. As saying, what would you need? Stay here and take care of the bomb. Also, if you want to get MVP, I think it's best to make sure that you play the role of a villain pretty well. Even though it is kind of, well, annoying in a way. As saying, what about you? I'll play the role as a distraction. The best chance we have is for me to stall the boss, and Uraraka being the only one to try and get the bomb, with her lack of speed and with yours, and with your increased speed, we should be able to defeat them easily without any troubles whatsoever. With that, Kojiro soon leaves, with Iida soon pondering his strategy. As he begins thinking, it makes sense. It makes plenty of sense why. As then, Iida begins getting into his villainous role. As for Izuku and Ochako, they're standing outside of the building. As Izuku is using the infrared of his new eye patch. As he looks around, he sees that one is on the 4th floor of the building, while another is going down each floor, as it being Kojiro, as he can tell. As saying, well, looks like Iida's staying up top, and Kojiro's coming at us, just as I expected from him. As Ochako saying, so what's the plan, Midoriya? With Izuku explaining, saying, Kojiro's most likely going to be coming after me, due to me being the most major threat out of the two of us, and I'm going to be honest. As Ochako saying, that seems pretty arrogant. No disrespect to Uraraka, I didn't mean to say. As it's just that Kojiro knows on what I'm capable of if I'm left alone with my own devices. Hell, he's the only person that can most likely stop me if I'm going to say so. As Ochako saying, why do you say that? Because he and I have trained together throughout our entire childhood and teenage life as well. So to be honest, he's the only person that would be able to keep up with me. Even though he doesn't have a speed quirk, his quirk, high senses, is the only one that could be able to counteract my ability, my power. As soon, Chaka saying, the two of you know each other pretty well. As Izuku saying, yeah, that's why I can't hold anything back against him. Not one bit. As Izuku says this, smiling with that of a big ass grin. Well, then he soon removes his hand away from his good eye, and then switches back to regular vision with his eye patch. He's saying, "All right, let's do this." With Ochako saying, "Yeah, let's." As soon the two enter the building, as Kojiro is on the second floor, waiting for both of them while he sits down. This is saying they're finally in. As he stands up, he has his right hand on one of his swords, as he couldn't help but be ready for anything to come. But soon, Izuku saying, best chance I got is to take care of Kojiro beforehand. Uraka, knowing Iida, he most likely already cleaned up the fourth floor, so you won't have anything to throw at him or use as a weapon, if I'm going to be honest. With Ochako freaking out, saying, "So what do you have for me to?" As soon Izuku closes his eyes and puts his hand on his chin, saying, "I got one idea, but it may freak you out and scare you, Iida. So when you feel terrified, that's your cue." As soon Ochako saying, "Okay, you seemed pretty cryptic, Izuku," saying, "No, I'm trying to be cryptic because Kojiro is listening in on our conversation after all." With soon Kojiro already knows what Izuku is planning, even while trying to be cryptic, saying, "I already know what you already have planned, Izuku. I may not have a countermeasure for it, but I can still be able to defeat you before I go after Uraraka, or allow time to stall." With that, Izuku and Ochako already made to the second floor. As they're trying to head up to the third floor, soon Kojiro is blocking their path in the hallway. With Kojiro saying, "You will go no further, you two." As Izuku couldn't help but smile, saying, "Well, you ready for this, Kojiro? Don't hold back on me, buddy." As then Kojiro unsheaths his sword, saying, "The same goes for you, boss. Don't hold back." As Izuku unsheaths one of his swords as well, and gets into his battle stance. With that, Izuku saying, "Go, Uraka. I'll handle this." As Ochako hears this, she soon leaves. With that, Izuku and Kojiro are all alone in the hallway. With that, the two began to clash. As Izuku began having somewhat lightning all around his body and rushing right at Kojiro. Kojiro was able to block the attack, with the two now deadlocking in against one another. As soon the battle begins, with Momo wanting to take interest in this battle and see what Izuku is truly capable of, and hoping that her want to fight him is valid. With the two clashing blades in the hallway, with not holding back whatsoever, as the two give it everything they got. Within those in the monitoring room, like Kirishima, Kaminari, and also Ojiro, began getting surprised seeing this battle, as they had no idea that Kojiro could actually counter or basically block all of Izuku's strikes and attacks so easily, as they wonder if he has a speed quirk or anything like that. With Bakugo going, "You idiots. He doesn't have a speed quirk. It's his stupid senses quirk." As they all look at the blonde explosion team, but soon Tokiyami saying, what do you mean by that, Bakugo? As saying, that bastard has a quirk that basically enhances senses. Sight, hearing, taste, touch, smell, and also presence sensing. He has all those senses are basically heightened to superhuman levels. Because of this, he's able to keep up with that damn one eye. Just because he's so fast doesn't mean he can't be counteracted if you know when he's going to strike, which seriously pisses me off, if anything, with Bakugo clenching his fist, seeing this fight. Within the two still clashing between one another, with finally getting back into a deadlock with their blades against one another. As then Izuku saying, that's what I expect from my best friend. So, plan on giving up now, Kojiro? Saying, you still haven't gone completely all out yet, boss. And plus, neither have I. As then, white lightning begins crackling around Kojiro's sword. As soon, Izuku saying, so you really did master it. As then, Izuku basically backing off. As everyone's seeing Kojiro's sword crackling with lightning. As even All Might is surprised seeing this. What? I thought that Kurikata only had one quirk. With even Bakugo surprised seeing this as well. As he thinks, what? No. No. Not that bastard. Not that damn lapdog too. As Bakugo getting more and more frustrated. With then Kojiro saying, it's only experimental, but I was waiting for the perfect time to use this and to show you my labors of training by myself, boss. I guess now is the perfect time. But then Izuku couldn't help but crack a smile, saying, all right then, show me what you can do, Kojiro. Show me what my right eye is really capable of. As then he sheaths his sword before having both his hands on all 6 of his swords, bringing them out all at once, with lightning crackling all across all of them. Within Momo actually clenching her heart as she's seeing this, saying, this is what I wanted to see. This is Midoriya's true strength. With soon Sasuke looking at Momo, saying, Lady Momo, are you is she saying, yes, I'm totally fine, Kojiro. But personally, I now feel envious of Iida and Katakuri, as Sasuke feeling confused, saying, why? As she's saying, because I desire fighting against Midoriya by myself, if anything. But soon, Sasuke kind of confused, seeing the girl that he serves and grew up with acting this way, and she was always hot-blooded and always honest to a fault. However, she was never this, intense when it came to seeing somebody as her true equal. All the way back into the training exercise, Izuku was about to rush at Kojiro as he gets ready, saying, Izuku Midoriya, the new big boss of UA, full speed ahead! As sent rushing, turning into a living lightning bolt, rushing at Kojiro, as Kojiro soon draws another sword, with white lightning crackling around both. Within, Kojiro blocking Izuku's attack from all 6 swords. However, Kojiro was knocked back to a wide open area on the 2nd floor, within the entire building shaking. As then Ochako saying, wait, was that the signal? As soon Iida saying, you should be worrying about yourself, hero. My villainous cohort will soon dispatch of your partner, as Iida's still trying to act like the very definition of a villain that he sees. With that, soon, Izuku and Kojiro clashing between one another as they look like that of a blur, Izuku looking like that of a blue blur, and Kojiro, someone looking that of a white grayish blue blur, with the two clashing once more in a deadlock as Izuku saying, "I'm really thankful that you're my friend, Kojiro." As then Kojiro saying, "Likewise to you as well, Izuku." With then the two about to end this attack with one final strike, with Kojiro sending that of a shockwave slash made of lightning, as Izuku basically had the presence of that of a dragon behind him, as he sent his own variation of a shockwave slash with all 6 of his swords at the same time. As the attack clashed, soon a small explosion happened, crackling the glass in the area. But then Kojiro trying his best to catch his breath, with Izuku breathing heavily as well, but not to the same degree as Kojiro though. As Kojiro looks at Izuku, he's soon saying, "Well, I still have a long way to go before I'm considered your equal, boss." As then Izuku saying, "You've always been my equal, Kojiro. Always. You're not just my right eye. After all, you're my best friend." With soon Kojiro saying, "I appreciate that, Izuku." With soon Kojiro basically going to his knees. With that, Izuku sheaths all 6 of his swords, with then saying, "Guess it's the perfect time now." As then he soon closes his eyes before a glimmer of blue light happens on his left eye. After that, a lightning bolt soon strikes the top of the building, with everyone actually surprised with seeing the fight between Iida and Ochako basically having nothing but dust as the top of the roof began to cave in on, began to collapse, with soon All Might saying, "Young Uraka, young Iida, are you two okay?" As soon Ochako trying to catch her breath as there's tons of dust everywhere, and within she realized that there's tons of rubble around her, with the ceiling broken apart. Within Kojiro saying, "So that's what you were planning. You know, it's really hard to actually counteract literal lightning showing up out of nowhere, boss." As saying, "Hey, if you got the ability, you gotta use it somehow. And personally, this was the only way for me to help out Uraka after all, with her trying to take the bomb from Iida. Besides, I think she should have some time to shine herself, besides just me." With soon Kojiro saying, "You're always like this, boss. Always thinking about other people and wanting to see what they're capable of as well." As soon saying, "Oh, I don't think that's me. Not one bit." As Izuku says this sarcastically. With soon Ochako had tons of rubble she could work with, as she sent it flying right at Iida before jumping into the air, making herself light as a feather before grabbing onto the bomb, just like she would in canon, with the hero team winning in a nick of time. After that, everybody was actually excited and hyped for their matches as well, and also impressed with Izuku. However, many of them were really confused about how a lightning bolt just showed out of nowhere, even though it's clear blue skies outside right now in front with them. With soon Bakyo saying, "That damn bastard, able to basically summon lightning like it's nothing." It's arrogant. It seriously pisses me off. Would soon, Tokiyami couldn't help but give off a little bit of a smirk as he still has his arms crossed, saying, he really is something else. A real annoying dumbass, if I do say so. But what do I expect from such a brutish dragon as saying that as he could, but still, with his words betraying his look on Tokiyami's face. As for Momo, she truly desires to fight against Izuku more than ever. With that, both Izuku, Kojiro, Ochako, and Iida head back to the monitoring room to see on what they all did well and what they all did wrong, but also seeing on who should be MVP, with many wanting to choose Izuku for basically his ability to defeat Kojiro. However, soon Izuku saying it had to go to Iida, with even Kojiro saying agreed, Iida was the perfect candidate as MVP, with everybody confused at the two. But soon Momo saying, of course, it has to be Iida. He was the one who took his job seriously as a villain. Not only that, he was able to keep Uraraka at bay more than anyone as well. Sure, Midoriya had more of the strength advantage and power as well to overwhelm his opponents. However, it seems like he had a more personal reason to go after Kurikata, of course. As soon Kurikata saying, of course, he did, but he also thought of a smart way to take me out, due to me being the biggest threat to his entire team, and him being the biggest threat to my team as well. So it was only necessary that the two of us battle to one another. But just like we said, Iida deserves MVP more than we do, even though our strategies were focused more on personal reasons. With that, everybody was shocked seeing this, with even All Might surprised too, as he didn't expect that these kids were so smart after all. Within soon the next match beginning somewhat differently as canon, as it being Shoto and Shoji versus against Toru versus alongside Sasuke, as he's replacing Ojiro actually, as he's part of the villain team alongside Toru, as they find a place to hide the bomb for a bit, with Toru suggesting that they should basically let her sneak up behind both of them and knock them out, with Sasuke basically saying it would be a good plan if they didn't expect you coming, and the only thing you have is kind of, well, your invisibility. And also, there's a chance about that Todoroki guy basically freezing the entire building at that as well. With her saying, wait, you serious? Can he do something like that? With Sasuke saying this with his hands in his pocket, saying, if the person has the strong quirk, they could probably do it with enough training and practice. And given Todoroki's cold-hearted demeanor, and also he doesn't seem like the kind of person to play around, I think he could probably do it. So, best chance we have is to find a place on where there'll be less cold. Not only that, we need to make sure that our hands and feet don't get frozen as well. So what do you expect? As soon Sasuke saying, grab onto me. As she's soon saying, wait, what? Just grab onto me. With soon Toru holding on to Sasuke. But then the two basically going down to the ground into a shadow, with then the entire building freezing just like it would when Shoto tried to attack them. As then Shoto enters the building, within looking through one of the doors, he sees the bomb. As he's about to walk into it, Sasuke soon jumps out as he kicks Shoto in the face. However, he wasn't knocked out, Within Shoto saying, how? I thought for sure that saying, you shouldn't underestimate your opponents so much. Actually, you should have allowed Shoji to come in here instead. Within saying, why you? As then Sasuke brings out 2 dual blades from his back. As then he points them at Shoto, which Shoto soon was about to attack. Sasuke. He soon disappears again, and then pops up behind Shoto, kicking him once more. But then basically disappearing once more, and popping up again and again and again, constantly kicking him before Sasuke finally catched on and then grabbed on to Sasuke's shirt, within about to freeze him before Toru basically knocking out Shoto from behind, within Sasuke saying, what took you so long, Hagakure? With saying, hey, I was surprised, that's all. Especially with soon Sasuke saying, what? Oh. Yeah, sorry. She's soon saying, sorry doesn't help, you know? As then they capture Shoto, within Choji coming in, as then he begins hearing something coming down the hallway, as it sounds like a humming, before a giant shuriken was soon sent flying at Shoji. However, he stops it with his duple arms in time before he could hit him. As then Sasuke was about to attack Shoji from behind, popping out of his shadow. However, he was soon grabbed by Shoji's duple arm before Sasuke could land a hit on him. As then soon Shoji begins hearing somebody else coming, as he realized that it's most likely Toru. As he tries his best to understand where she's at, he forgot that Sasuke's shuriken was still in his hands before Sasuke used his quirk to dive into Shoji's shadow, then knocking him. As he soon grabs it, he soon cuts off a couple of his duple arms before splitting them apart and turning back into double sabers, and then pointing them at Shoji at his throat. Within Shoji saying, I guess I give up. With that, the villain team wins, as everybody's surprised and shocked seeing this. Within All Might saying, quite impressive with a quirk like that. His quirk allows him to dive into people's shadows and then come out of them easily. Not only that, he's got quite the good reflexes and skills to do so once he pops out. It's quite the interesting quirk, if I do say so. As all the other matches go pretty similar as canon, besides one thing being that Momo is paired up with Bakugo instead of, Mineta, since Kojiro replaced Mineta after all. With that, their teamwork is not really perfect, if I do say so, with, the two basically butting heads, with Momo actually suggesting Bakugo should stay behind to protect the bomb, while she takes on, Kaminari and also Jiro. However, Bakugo completely shouts at her constantly, basically saying that all she wants to do is take the glory for herself after all. However, that's not the case, as she realized that somebody like him and his quirk would be useful for a last line of defense after all. With the two basically just agreeing that they both would attack Jiro and Kaminari at the same time. with actually working out pretty well, besides the time where Jiro uses her speakers on her boots to, knock them out a little bit by using an earphone jack. However, even so, Momo's determination and strong will prevails in the end, basically engulfing herself in fire and rushing right at the two before a small shockwave was sent knocking both of them out. As then the villain team wins for this one. After that, the last remaining match goes just like they would in canon. With that, everyone's now done, with Bakugo surprised seeing Momo with that immense power, as he wanted to scream at her saying, "Hey you, Bony Spike Tail, how the hell are you able to turn in fire? I thought you had a creation quirk." As saying, "Well, I do, Bakugo. The fire thing is something I was able to do by myself. It's not a quirk, but it's something I will use to the best of my abilities to overcome any challenge that gets in my way. That is what I'll do my best at. Just letting you know. But even so, thank you for being my teammate, even though you were somewhat infuriating." With then Bakugo getting annoyed at that, as he wanted to basically explode her. However, every time that he looked at her, he couldn't help but feel such an overwhelming presence coming from her, even though she didn't look threatening whatsoever, even with the two spears on her back. With that, the battle trial class finally comes to an end, with All Might impressed, seeing everyone's skills and abilities firsthand, and seeing what they're all capable of after all. But also tells them to remember that their quirks can be used to hurt others. Their support items can be used to hurt others as well. To remember to control their quirks better without having to take a life in the process. With soon, Izuku saying, sometimes taking life is necessary to protect others. As soon, everybody looks at Izuku, as Kojiro's not really surprised about this, with even Bakugo somewhat surprised too, as he didn't expect this from Izuku of all people. With All Might saying, "Young Midoriya, do you have something to say?" Saying, I do believe that there is some that you shouldn't kill unless it's necessary. But when it is necessary, sometimes you have to take a life to protect others. That can't be helped. Sure, some people may see it looked down upon, especially for heroes, that they're strong enough to basically defeat people without killing. But then there are villains who are getting stronger, getting more tougher, more powerful and more bold day by day. So there are times when you might have to take a life to protect the innocent. That's just my opinion. With everyone surprised, with even Tokiyami saying, I agree with Midoriya as well. Sometimes lives need to be sacrificed. Sometimes a villain's life needs to be taken for the greater good if it means people can be safe in the process. That's what needs to be necessary. With even All Might surprised, hearing this from Tokiyami too. With Momo wanting to say something wanting to agree with them, but personally, for some reason, she couldn't. She couldn't express how she felt about this situation. With that, All Might saying, I can't completely agree with you, but I do understand where you're coming from, you two. But with that said, try to remember that as heroes, your job is to make sure lives are protected. With that, everybody listens to All Might's words. Even Izuku smiles at those words, saying, I'll take them to heart, All Might. But soon, All Might dashing away, basically telling everybody to get ready, that they can now leave school if they wish. But soon, everybody getting somewhat excited and actually pretty hyped having Ahmed as their teacher. But then, Izuku was about to walk off before he was stopped by Kaminari, saying, huh? Oh, Kaminari, right? Look, if you have something to opinions on what I say, wait, no, dude, I got nothing on that, dude, man. I just want to say, teach me how to use how to control my quirk. As Izuku basically surprised, saying, what? Dude, your lightning quirk, I have to say, you are so strong. I can't believe somebody like you with a lightning quirk like that got into UA, and yet I was still able to even get into Class 1A. But with you here, I think I should be able to learn how to control it, because as Kaminari begins explaining that him using his quirk electrification, if he overuses the voltage, he ends up, well, making himself dumber. Not only that, he can't even control it enough to the point that, well, he can't, manipulate it or morph it into something that he wants. With Izuku basically understanding where he's coming from, saying, okay then, so you want me to teach you how to use your quirk better? I can do that. As Kaminari saying, really? Saying as soon Izuku stops him, saying, but only on one condition. You gotta join my crew. As soon Kaminari saying, wait, what? Yeah, I want you to join my crew. Join my gang. That's why. Alongside me, Kojiro, and Uraraka too, if she's willing to. As Ochako hears her name, saying, oh, sure. I thought we are already friends, Izuku. As saying, oh, cool. Guess she's in. What do you think, Kojiro? Should we let him? As Kojiro has his arms crossed, looking at Kaminari, saying, probably, I think so. Why not? He may not be as smart, but we had other idiots part of our crew before. Why not? With then, Izuku saying, well, you heard the man. Welcome to the gang, Kaminari. But that's only if you want to. Do you? After hearing this, Kaminari says, yes, I want to join. If you can help me how to control my quirk better, then I totally want your help, man. As soon Izuku gives off a smile, saying, then welcome. As then Izuku has his arm out, with then saying, come on, man. As the two basically bump arms together, but then saying, you're part of my crew now. You're part of the One-Eyed Dragons. With then, Izuku couldn't help but glad having somebody else besides Ochako part of his new crew in UA. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. And also like and subscribe, which really helps the channel a lot. And also hit that bell notification if you want to get, well, notified of all my other videos, because YouTube doesn't like to tell people when my videos come out. So also check out my Discord and my gaming channel. Links to be in the description below if you feel like checking them out. So, with all that said, this is Mooky signing out. Later, guys.